Good morning. Welcome to Carolina Center for Spiritual Awakening Sunday morning service. Show up and be loved. Be the smile you're dreaming of. We're here to give and receive love. Won't you show up and be loved? Be that heart you're dreaming of. We are here to be loved. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, you are. Oh, you're welcome here. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, you are loved and wanted here. So show up and be loved. Be the smile you're dreaming of. We're here to give and receive love. Won't you show up and be loved? Be that heart you're dreaming of. We are here to be loved. Many rivers, just one well, all unique expressions of life. When one is silenced, I'll be your voice. I will stand beside you for what's right. So show up and be loved. Be the smile you're dreaming of. We're here to give and receive love. Won't you show up and be loved? Be that heart you're dreaming of. We are here to be loved. You gotta be it if you wanna see it. All that love you're craving in the world. We're the ones to make the difference. We're the ones that we've been waiting for. So show up and be loved. Be the smile you're dreaming of. We're here to give and receive love. Won't you show up and be loved? Be that heart you're dreaming of. We are here to be loved. We are here to be loved. We are here to be loved. Here to be loved. So feel the love that we have for you at Carolina Center for Spiritual Awakening. This morning and every morning, I'm Reverend Christy Snow, and it is my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of our board and our membership. Wherever you are watching from, we love you and we want to know you. So shoot us an email if you want to know more about us. You can reach us info@awakeningcarolina.org. You can also reach us for prayer support by emailing prayer@awakeningcarolina.org. So we have a lot going on, even in virtual land. So I want to tell you a little bit about a couple of those things. It's important, we feel, in living this new thought philosophy, this science of mind tradition, that we focus on what we want and we keep our sights set in that direction. And at the same time, we know it's been a big year. We've had a lot of people make the transition. We've had folks lose their jobs, their relationships. It's been an opportunity like none other. And we want to honor that. And we want to give everyone an opportunity to come together in a healing meditation. So if we were meeting in person, which we will be again soon, that is in the works. But if we were meeting in person, we would just have a meditation before service. So we decided to do that virtually. So next Sunday, which is the 18th, next Sunday, April 18th, we'd like for you to join us at 10:30 for a healing meditation. And it will take place just right up to service time. So tune in at 10:30 for a time of just honoring what we've been through and allowing ourselves to open, to feel, to heal, and to welcome in that healing energy of wholeness. So join us for that next Sunday morning at 10:30. And then in person the following Sunday, if you live in the Charlotte area or if you want to come in for it, if you feel comfortable gathering for an outdoor in-person gathering, that will take place on the 25th at 10 a.m. So we can still keep our 11 a.m. service, live stream service. That will still happen. But we will have an additional service on the 25th that will be outdoors at the McGill Rose Garden in Noda, which is right close to uptown Charlotte. That will be at 10 a.m. So there's information about this on our website, along with our new class that we're launching on the 19th called Building a Healing Consciousness. So check out awakeningcarolina.org. You can like us on Facebook as well for information. So just wanted to give you a little heads up. We do have an announcement video that we'll show shortly, but sometimes I think we have a tendency to be overloaded with video, and I thought I would just tell you personally. So let's take some time now to just breathe. To just breathe and realize that we want to make space within. Make space within. So we do that by letting go of anything that no longer serves. So, but first, let's just join together in the breath. Of the things that no longer serve me, I am letting go. I am healed, I am made whole. I am letting go of the things that no longer serve me. I am letting go. I am healed, I am made whole. I am letting go of the things that no longer serve me. I am letting go. I am healed, I am made whole. Healed, I am made whole. And so we know by recognizing the wholeness that is already there and letting go of anything that does not serve us, we are healed and made whole, that wholeness which never left us. So we place our awareness in this moment on the truth that there is one power and one presence that created all life out of itself. It is expressing through me and as me. It is expressing through and as all of life. And so I rest in that awareness. Healed and made whole through my awareness of oneness. And so I speak this word this morning. So grateful for this awareness, for this knowing, for this remembering who and whose I am, for this remembering to breathe into peace, to breathe into peace right here and right now. Remembering who I am. Remembering that I am already healed, already made whole. Anything unlike that truth is let go from my consciousness as I embrace more life, more love, more health, more wealth, more connection. Thank you, God. I embrace life. I embrace my magnificent, joy-filled life. I remember the truth of my being. child of God. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am, made in the image and the likeness of the Most High. I am remembering who I am, perfect, whole, and complete, never separate. I am remembering who I am, loved, loving, and lovable. I am remembering who I am. Healed, I am made whole.
Hello, I'm Donna Heil, and I'm coming to you from Louisville, Kentucky today. And I'm going to do a reading from this month's Science of Mind magazine for today, April 11th, 2021. It's called Joyful Living. You are as young as your faith, as old as your fear, as young as your hope, and as old as your despair. From Ernest Holmes, Help for Today. Man is birthless, deathless, ageless spirit, and this should be the consciousness of our work. This leaves nothing to be born, mature, decay, and die. Ernest Holmes, The Science of Mind. Ernest Holmes said, nobody grows old by merely living a number of years. People grow old only by deserting their ideals. Years may wrinkle the skin, but to give up interest wrinkles the soul. How you choose to see your life and the world around you is everything. Some young people look old and some old people look young. The story is told in your face and the way you carry yourself. As bodies of energy, we reveal everything, and not just in the words that we speak. Our enthusiasm for life is like a beacon of light that attracts like a moth to a flame. We have within our power to create that light, but we cannot do it by dwelling on worry, fear, doubt, self-judgment, and despair. These are the ways of being that bend the back and bow the head. No matter how old you are, there is in every heart that childlike delight, that love of wonder, that joy of experiencing something brand new and fresh. While it has been said 1,000,000 times, it bears repeating. The thoughts you think are what determine the world that you live in. If you don't like the world you live in, now is a great time to change. Life is so joyous, so beautiful, so profoundly magnificent in its complexity and its opportunity. You did not come into your physical body of pain and suffering. You came for love and beauty and divine expression. Now is the time of your great becoming, to live the rapturous journey of your magnificent, joy-filled life. And today's affirmation is, I declare myself a powerful, loving light, overjoyed at my new becoming. I thought that's a perfect reading for springtime. And on this gorgeous spring day, I wish you all a happy Sunday. I look forward to seeing you very, very soon together in person. Thank you. Take care.
Good morning, beloveds. This is Maitri, and I'm so honored to provide the prosperity moment this Sunday. Actually, it's several prosperity moments over about a 6-month period that I'm rolling into one story. So I'm going to try to be as concise as possible. As many of you know, I have had a long time dream to live abroad in a developing country as an expat. So I've been researching and dating countries for many, many years now. And one of the things I did in preparation is that I signed up for an international house sitters online profile so that I could apply for house sits around the world so I could go stay in places for free without having to pay for hotels. And I did it for about 2 years and kept applying for international house sits and couldn't get any. The competition is really strict. There could be anywhere from 20 to 100 applicants for each house sit abroad. So what I did is I started house sitting in the USA and getting some 5-star reviews. And then I really started doing some surrender work. And I realized, so what is it about living overseas that I used to do when I was a teenager and in my 20s before I had kids that's such a core value and so exciting for me that I feel like I'm not quite Maitri without it. And I realized I have a high need for adventure. That's a core value of mine. And so I did some surrender work and decided I'm going to focus on adventure wherever I am. It can be in Charlotte. It can be in, the mountains near Asheville. It can be anywhere. I'm just going to focus on surrender. So I kept on applying for house sits, and last year, magically, I got my first one. In fact, I was chosen out of 45 applicants. I was so excited. I was chosen for a 6-week house sit in the country of Panama for the month of December and half of January. So December 2020 through January 15th of 2021. And it was in rural southern Panama. It was like 4 to 5 hours from the capital city. I didn't realize how far it was. Anyway, from the moment I arrived, there was just one serendipitous coincidence after another. To say everything was in divine flow would have been an understatement. One example is that I found a spiritually like-minded, sustainability enthusiast woman who was also a Spanish tutor. I tried to find a Spanish tutor and this one wasn't available and that one wasn't available, and then I got connected to my dear friend Clara, and many of you actually met her because she participated in a CCSA New Year's webinar with Reverend Christy, a New Year's Eve workshop. So Clara was able to help me complete a business project in Spanish on recycling for my client, Mecklenburg County Solid Waste. So that was super exciting. But while I was there, it was during the peak of COVID. I think you remember between Thanksgiving and New Year was the worst of the worst. And being in a developing country during a pandemic was something I'd never done before. I had been on curfews before in other countries. I've been on lockdown before, but this was stricter than anything I had ever experienced. If I walked off the sidewalk in the front of my house, I could be arrested. If I was outside, even with no one for miles without a mask on, I could get a $300 fine. The beaches were closed, which was a block from where I was house sitting. I could see the ocean, but I couldn't go there. There was all kinds of places I wanted to research and travel. I couldn't go because there were police barricades. So how am I going to do research on where I might want to live someday? I had to start asking other people, sometimes via WhatsApp and via phone. We couldn't even see each other. And I told people about my lifestyle and my preferences and what I like to do and what things are important. Rural over city, nature over museums and nightlife kind of stuff. Local native populations versus being in a place with a lot of tourists or a lot of expats. And they all said, I think you'd like Anton Valley. It's a valley in a mountain. It's only an hour and a half from Panama City. It's only 30 minutes from like a Costco and a Home Depot and a big hospital. So it's safe, but almost everybody there is Panamanian. The expats haven't found it yet. And I thought, oh my gosh, I need to go visit. But the only way I could go was if I had an airplane ticket in my hand. So I had to do it on my way out of Panama. Took a detour, had lunch there, felt the energy and immediately thought, okay, this is it. This is home. I have to come back here. I have to research it. So with all that got back into the US, got settled. The travel itch hit again. Decided to look on trustedhousesitters.com, which is where I do my international house sitting. And there was a house sit at the base of that mountain. On the ocean, but at the base of the mountain, near that little town with the regional hospital and the Costco and the Home Depot, 30 minutes up the hill to this Anton Valley, where they have thermal springs and mud spas and waterfalls and hiking and fresh fruits and vegetables, everything that I would just love. I applied immediately. They called to interview me on Skype, and I got it. I don't even think they had 15 applicants, and they had already chosen me. So we started talking over the week, starting to plan. Turns out they used to live in that city 5 hours south of Panama City where I was house sitting in December, in the same subdivision across the street from the people that I was house sitting for in December. They were friends. And they didn't even call them to get a reference on me. They just chose me. And then I thought, okay, the only thing that's not perfect about this is that I'm going to have to either take taxis or walk or local buses to get up to that town to go spend time in that village, or rent a car. And I got several quotes, and it was over $1,000. I swear it wasn't 2 days later. The homeowners called me up and said, in the past we had a house sitter that crashed our car. That's why we didn't want to give it to you. But we really feel like we trust you and we'd like to leave our car with you for the month. So, on the ocean, at the base of the mountain, in the village that I want to check out, with a free car for 4 weeks, and the pandemic in Charlotte has gone down. I've had 2 COVID vaccinations. I'll be fully vaccinated. My husband had to cancel his last trip because of all the COVID restrictions and travel restrictions. He's going to come this time for 10 days. So I will be sending you readings and love from Panama in May. Thank you so much for listening to my prosperity moment, and I hope you all have a beautiful week.
So I have a question for you this morning. How many of you have a Netflix show that you have totally and completely gone down the rabbit hole on, and it just pulled you in by the 3rd or 4th episode, and you're like, more and more and more? Probably all of us, since COVID hit last year, have experienced a Netflix binge or two. So there's this show that's new to me. It's called Outlander. I have a little Scottish in my history, my lineage, so it's fascinating to me from that perspective. But just, I love history, and for whatever reason, I'm digging this show, Outlander. And I didn't pick the show. Angie picked the show. My wife, Angie, she was I was working late one night or away or something, and she was home alone and surfing the internet and found this show. At least I thought she found the show. I knew I didn't find the show, so I thought she found the show, but it turns out neither of us actually found the show. An algorithm found the show. An algorithm. There are algorithms out there that are controlling our behavior, and we don't even know it. There's science that proves that the research shows that 1/3 of our Amazon purchases are driven by algorithms, and 80% of what we watch on Netflix is algorithm induced, I guess you could say. So what is an algorithm? It's something that pays attention to your preferences, how much you like a thing, select a thing, and then it shows you more of that. And so I saw this post on Facebook by a colleague talking about how the universe is really similar. That there's like an algorithmic nature to the universe. That what we think about and expend our energy toward, and what we talk about, give all our attention to, what shows up as relevant in our lives by our actions and our thoughts and our feelings. We get more of that. There's an algorithm to life. And we live in a reflective universe. However you want to say it, what you fixate your attention on, you draw more of it into your experience. So are you fixated on your successes or your second guesses? Your should haves, your supposed tos? Are you fixated on your health or those habits of thought that are in alignment with dis-ease? Are you fixated, having your attention really focused on being in the effluent flow of life, or on the mindset and the habit of thinking there's not enough to go around? Where is your intention and where is your attention being placed in this life? Dr. Ernest Holmes said that if you drop all negative thoughts from the mind, I know Donna already shared this in the reading, but drop all negative thoughts from the mind. Do not dwell upon adversity, but think plenty into everything. Think plenty into everything. Think plenty into health, plenty into harmony, plenty into wealth, plenty. Think plenty into everything. Drop the negative thoughts from the mind and think plenty. This is why we talk so much about the complaint-free world, that wonderful book and the complaint-free challenge we've done at our center so many times. That was brought back to the forefront of my mind recently as I was talking to another minister, and he said that, I have to report that I'm enjoying this spring. I'm loving this spring. I realized just before spring hit that normally I would dread spring. And I would say, when someone would ask, how are you doing? I would say, the pollen's terrible. The pollen's terrible. I just can't, these allergies, I just can't get past it. And he said, and I decided, because I believe in the power of thought and I believe in the power of attention, I believe in this teaching, I decided I was going to practice it to a higher degree. And so this spring, before spring even sprung, I decided that I wasn't going to contribute to that way of thinking, that I was going to think clear. I was going to think harmony with nature. I was not going to think congested. I was not going to think about that complaint in advance and have it locked and loaded when someone asked, how are you doing? I was not going to unload all of these ideas of dis-ease from pollen and allergies. And he said, and I'm having a different experience because my focus is in a different place. I'm teaching a class coming up in real soon, another week on April 19th, building a healing consciousness, talking about using this teaching to align ourselves with a greater degree of health. And what is healing anyway but a return to wholeness, a return to the awareness that we are already whole, an awareness that out of one source sprung all of life. So everything, the pollen, the trees, the birds, everything is part of that one source. We'll call it God, universe, spirit, divine intelligence, whatever we give it the name of. It is still one power, one presence, creating out of itself all that is. And we can be in harmony with all that is to a greater degree when we drop the negativity and get back into alignment with the wholeness of life, that wholeness. Dr. Ernest Holmes also in the reading today, there was a quote that said, how you choose to see your life and the world around you is everything. How you choose to see your life and the world around you is everything. See, we get to have a choice point moment in every moment. How we choose to see our life and the world around us is everything. There was a wonderful story that a friend of mine shared that was a friend of hers and her 6-year-old daughter. So my friend has this other friend, and she's telling me the story about this mother and her daughter. And the little girl snapped at her mom one day and was just rude. And her mom decided she was going to be mindful in how she responded to her 6-year-old daughter. And she said, that was hurtful how you spoke to me. Why did you speak to me that way? And the little girl started to tear up and tears started to just get ready to fall. And she said, you're not in trouble. I'm not mad at you. I'm just wanting to know why you were rude to me, why you spoke in a hurtful way to your mom. And she said, I don't know. My brain told me to do it. And the mom said, I understand. When I'm not having a great day or I'm not completely being at my best, my brain sometimes tells me to be rude too, but it works for me. And she's speaking like an adult to this little 6-year-old. She says, what works for me? As I just take a breath and I say, you know what? I'm not completely being my best self right now. I need a minute. And the little girl got it. And they practiced this new way of being. And she said it was fascinating that even a 6-year-old could have the emotional maturity when given the awareness when her awareness was placed on that choice, she could have the emotional maturity to choose how she wants to interact, how she wants to be, how she wants her brain to work. She had the emotional ability, maturity, intelligence, even as a 6-year-old, to make that choice. That's why it's so important that we heed these words of Dr. Ernest Holmes, right? And to drop the negativity and choose how we see life and the world. That's not saying that things don't sometimes show up in a way that feels yucky. Of course they do. But are we going to perseverate on that and then exacerbate it? Or are we going to say, okay, this is here, this is happening, but I'm not giving it my power. This is what I want, and I go in that direction. Or even sometimes we can look back and reframe a situation to make it more empowering instead of deflating. I remember when I was playing basketball in college, I had a really weird fluke accident. I had this basketball, someone threw a bullet of a baseball past the full length of the court, and I was doing what you weren't supposed to do. I was running with my back towards the ball, and I caught myself. I was like, oh, turn around. And right as I turned around, I turned into the pass. That was literally like a shot. It was so hard. It was so fast. And it caught me off guard right on the thumb, and it ripped all of the ligaments so hard that it chipped the bone in my thumb, and they were afraid I wouldn't be able to use my thumb anymore. As a matter of fact, they told me I wouldn't be able to, but I can, and I'm grateful for that. I said, yes, I will. And but here I was from this thumb injury. I missed an entire season of my college basketball career. I was so devastated by it. I didn't know, first, that's a whole other talk. I didn't know who I was without basketball until that moment. But that's not the talk for today. The point for today is, here I was this whole year. I wasn't able to play basketball, but they created a job for me so I could still travel with the team, so they could justify the expense of me being there and then putting me up at a hotel and feeding me and all that. So I became the video person. I was the videographer. I didn't know anything about video, and I especially didn't know that I was talking and it was being recorded, and the coach could hear my personal opinion of her coaching style. But anyway, that's not the point either. So here I was being the videographer. So that meant I got to travel with the team. So on this one long basketball trip, we were in the bus for 6 or 7 hours or something. I don't know. It seemed like forever. Maybe not that long. But my friend Allie had a guitar, and she taught me to play a D chord. It took me the entire trip to play this one D chord. But by the time we arrived, I called my parents and I said, I know what I want for my birthday, my Christmas, any present for the rest of my life. I want a guitar. Please, if you'll just give me a guitar. And they did. And my journey into playing guitar started. Now, the reason I'm telling that story is because years later, I'm traveling, full-time musician, traveling around, loving my life, and couldn't just talk about music more. I wanted to play all the time. I still do. And I was playing after a show. I did a show, and then I hung out with some friends, and I kept playing. And they started asking me about when I learned to play guitar, and I told them that story. Now, up until that moment, for years after college, up to that moment, every time I told the basketball story and the thumb injury, there was this woe is me energy that came over me. I would tell the story and I would lament for my missing college year of basketball. Here I was, enjoying my college basketball years, and then it got ripped away from me one year. Just all dramatic, and it was so terrible what had happened that I wasn't able to play that one year. And you could feel the energy, just the air get sucked out of the room when I tell the story. It was so depressing. So now fast forward here, I'm telling the story, not quite as depressing, but still being dramatic. And this person listening to the story said, wow, that's amazing. And I said, what? You mean to tell me that you learned to play guitar because your thumb was hurt and you couldn't play basketball? And I said, yeah. She's like, so if your thumb hadn't been hurt, you may never have picked up a guitar, and your life might not be what it is now that you love so much. And in that moment, a huge light bulb. I had been framing this story, and I had the choice, but I had been framing this story in such a negative way that I didn't even see that life had shown up for me to put this guitar in my hand and this passion in my heart to play music. I didn't even see it. So you see, when we drop the negativity and we choose how we want to see our life and the world around us, we can do that in retrospect too. We can do that and empower our lives even from the past. and empower them into the now, because now I can look back at from that moment on or even before and see all of the things that maybe at the time felt like a negative, a heartbreaking thing, turned into this beautiful example of how life is for me. That is using your emotions to fuel your endeavors and not foil your plans, right? Not foil your dreams, but fuel your life, your intentions. When we choose how we want to see the world around us, and when we choose how we want to see our life, and when we choose that we want to see life as being for us. Because life is just being life. This algorithm to life is just working. It's just showing us more of what we say we're interested in by our thoughts, our conversations, our actions. Now, this doesn't mean we don't get disappointed sometimes. I heard an awesome story recently in the news about Taylor Swift. She was... I think a lot of people didn't realize maybe how much credit was due her because she was so young when she started and not everyone took her serious. But this young woman, she wrote all of her own music. She's a wonderful talent. And recently, her original label, the owner, purchased all of the masters to her original work. Now, as a singer-songwriter, that can feel completely devastating. And to her, it did. It did. She was like, this is my worst nightmare. Bought all of the rights to her original masters. But here's the thing. She took a moment. She felt the feeling, and she was like, well, this stinks. But hey, I still have the publishing rights, a copyright. I wrote the songs. I can just re-record them. So she is re-releasing all of her previous albums so that she has complete say over how they're used. I loved that story, and I loved that it was a great example of emotional intelligence, emotional maturity, of taking the moment to say, okay, I can choose to see this as the worst thing that could have ever happened to me, or I can choose to see this as, wow, this is a great opportunity. I'm going to re-release everything I've ever done, and all the people that love my music are just going to buy the new version. This is fantastic. And that's what she chose to do. It's all about our perspective and how we fuel our lives with it. There's a wonderful quote that my good friend, Dr. Shannon South, shared with me recently. And it's this. She said, I saw it on a card somewhere. I don't know who said it. It's a wonderful quote, though. It says, it's how you relate to what is and not what is that is the problem and the solution. How you relate to what is, not what is, that is both the problem and the solution. The only difference is our perspective and how we choose to see it. That's powerful. So we can identify with a problem, or we can identify as a problem. We don't want to identify as a problem. We can identify with a problem and say, okay, this happened, or with a pain, but we don't want to identify as that pain. So many times we take on a pain or a problem as our identity. And we identify as it so much that we walk into a room as if we are carrying a little ventriloquist dummy, with their hand up. Have you met problem? Let me introduce you to problem. Or maybe even like we're holding a real person by the neck and we're saying, have you met pain? This is Miss Pain. I'd like for you to know about my pain. My pain has been with me, right? Or maybe it's settling, or a problem, or a lack, or whatever. And we bring it along and introduce it everywhere we go because we identify as it. That's the difference. Identifying as it means we drag it into the room and it's part of us. We don't want that. We want to let that go. Drop the negative thoughts. Choose how we see life and how we see our world around us, because that's everything. That is everything. It's time for us to break up with Mr. Pain. Break up with Miss Problem. Break up with settling. Break up. Let that go. Let it go. So paying attention to what our intention is in life, instead of paying attention to things we want to label as a problem, things we want to label as pain, things we want to label as the reason why we can't get ahead, or the reason why we can't trust life or people in it. But instead, paying attention to what our intention is and being faithful to the assumption. This is some Neville Goddard for you. I love this. Faithful to the assumption. I will be faithful to the assumption that my desire is already so. being faithful to the assumption that my desire is already so, and then stepping into it, knowing the universe says yes, stepping into it, living from it. When we do that, life rushes to meet us. The reflective nature of the universe shows up and shows us who we are. Life shows us who we are. You get what you are, not what you want. So be what it is you want to see. That's what that saying means, to be what we want to see, because we get what we are, not what we want. We get what we are. So be peace, be love, be joy. Live a magnificent, joy-filled life, as the reading reminded us today. I live a magnificent, joy-filled life. I allow it to be so. I expect it to be so. I trust it. I know that life is showing up for me, and I choose to see it everywhere I go. And so it is. She said, tell me what it is you're waiting for. Who holds the key to your freedom's door? She asked, what is it you mean you need more time? Don't you think it's time? Time to be what you seek now. Time to love who you are. Time to want what you have. Yeah, love and life right where you are. It's time. Time to give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Time to live life from the inside out. Time to see things right, not waste time trying to set them right. Oh, oh, it's time. Tapes go, it's time to record something new. Time to believe you can do all those things you want to do. Dismiss the critical voice inside of your head. Let the ghost be free from the closet and finally dead. Don't you think it's time to embrace what you once called mistakes? Take chances, try again. Oh, it's time. Don't you think it's your time? Time to give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Time to live life from the inside out. Time to see things right, not waste time trying to set them right. Oh, oh, it's time. Time. Oh. Pay attention to what your intention is. Be aware of where your thought lives. Speak your word and know the power it has. We all cause what we lack or have. Yeah, we help create what we lack or have. It's time. Don't you think it's your time? Time to give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Time to live life from the inside out. Time to see things right, not waste time trying to set them right. Oh, oh, it's time. Time. Your time. My Kids, we see you, we hear you, we appreciate you, and we love you just the way that you are. Divine love, moving through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, for the good in my life. So in this energy of gratitude, let me just say thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you who continue to support Carolina Center for Spiritual Awakening with your tithes and your offerings. It matters, you matter, and we are so very grateful. We have a search committee meeting coming up where we will be talking about new space potentials. So if you have any ideas for meeting spaces in the Charlotte, Huntersville, any of the surrounding areas, by all means, send us an email and share your ideas, and they will be shared with the search committee. So here we grow, right? Here we grow. And in that, we appreciate all of your support in helping us to continue to grow and to flourish and to share this amazing truth teaching that we are inseparable from our God, our good. So know this for us as a community. Know this for yourself. And know it from an energy of absolute gratitude for all the good. Let's just breathe into that. I breathe in to gratitude. I breathe into this moment, and I say, thank you, God, for the good in my life. Thank you, God, for the breath of this life. Thank you, God, for the love in my life. I breathe in to gratitude. I breathe in to thank you. Thank you. So I breathe into gratitude in this moment. Thank you, beloved God. Thank you for this precious community. Thank you for this opportunity to come together each and every week, each and every day, to remind ourselves of the truth. Thank you for a community that lifts one another up. Thank you for a teaching that is life-affirming, inclusive and diverse. Thank you, God, for the good. I speak this word knowing that for each and every person giving a financial gift this morning, that their lives are blessed in the giving. For as we give, we open up so many channels to receive. And I'm just grateful to live in this beautiful dance of reciprocity with the universe, giving and receiving, living and being, moving through life with faith and gratitude. I breathe in to gratitude, and I say, thank you, God, for the good in my life. Thank you, God, for the breath of this life. Thank you, God, for the love in my life. I breathe in to gratitude. I breathe in to thank you. Thank you. So much to be grateful for. Place in the comments some things you're grateful for. By calling it out, we amplify it. What we praise, we raise. Let's say yes to more of that in our lives. Let's see what you're grateful for. Let us hear it in the comments. So we love you. We bless you. Let's join together in a closing song and just feel the love that we have for you washing over you in this moment. We let the wash over us. We let it be. We let the love, we let the love wash over us. We let it be. We love you, we bless you, and we thank you. Have a fantastic week, everyone.